Embarrassing injuries, is that what you said?
More ridiculous.
Ridiculous? I think I may have mentioned this. I hurt my hand the other day. I was putting some stuff away in a closet. It's a hall closet. It's one of those hall doors, it's like double doors that shuts on. Like that, right? Well, there's a little, the hinges, you gotta fix it because it's really tight. The doors are really tight when you shut them. If you shut one, you can't get the other one. You have to shut them together and then they, Well, as I was shutting them together, I pushed on the seam, and you can actually still see it pinched my palm, and it was so hard that I yanked my hand out and left part of my palm in the door. And there's another little part of that story where a few days earlier, I walked into my daughter's room and I could hear her running away from the door. Like she saw me, she could hear me coming. And so she ran away from the door, but then slipped and bone fell on the hardwood floor right as I was opening up the door. And she was like splayed out on the ground, and she sits up really quickly and like is rubbing her elbow, and I'm like, "Are you okay? What happened?" She's like, "Nothing." And I was like, did you slip and fall and hurt yourself? And she's like rubbing her hip. She's like, "No." And I'm like, "I think you did. You want me to hold you?" And she was like, "Mm-mm." And I was like, "Come on, give me a hug." She's like, "Okay, all right." So then I gave her a hug. So, cut back to the door of the closet. So I push it and I yank my hand out and I'm like, and then I just hear behind me, "You want me to hold you?"
He said yes.
No, I actually looked at my hand and I was like, "No, I need you to go ask Mommy for some gauze and some tape." Oh, and I swear, she comes in, she's like, "What'd you do?" And my hand's like just bleeding. And I'm like, "Do we not have any gauze or tape?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Wait a second, I just saw this thing as I was going through a box of stuff, and it was the season 8 of something gift from post-production. Phil Stigricia would send us these like funny gifts. It was a survival kit in a pouch, and I'm like, that'll have some like bandages of some sort to like go to the store and get some. So I go in there and I open it up. It's salt and matches. And a little thing of holy water. You remember that? The little orange pouch thing? So I had to hold my palm together but yeah, my daughter, don't be old you. So that was great, and it's been like 2 weeks and it still haven't gone.
Oh, wow.
That's why doors can be dangerous. That's why I always leave mine open slightly, so it's no longer a door, it's a jar.
Hi, how are you? Let me ask you a question. Ladies and gentlemen, Monsieur Keegan.
Monsieur Keegan Allen.
Do you put up with those jokes on the set of a show you work on with Jared?
Yes. But they're so great. He's also my boss.
Right. He's so funny, isn't he?
He's the most amazing guy ever.
He is the most amazing guy.
I did really laugh at that. That was great.
What's up, dude? What are you doing?
Hey, dude, what's up, man? Hey, guys, what's up? Keegan Allen here. I'm from California. Man, this is really nerve-wracking being down here.
Just take a deep breath. We're all here for you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, hold on.
Get it together, man.
I wanted to ask you guys, in the last year, what have you done in your lives that you feel like has made it 10% better?
That's a great question, Ian. Ian, right?
Keegan from California.
Well, Keegan from California. 10%, huh?
Well, because you don't want to, just like a subtle upgrade in your life.
Right.
Because, like, you know, something that's too drastic is too noticeable, but 10%.
Yeah, reasonable.
I got one for you. Make the bed first thing in the morning. I didn't used to do that. I would maybe get around to it, you know, like I'd get out of bed, or when I come back, and you know, sometimes I wouldn't go back to the bedroom until like the afternoon. I'm like, oh, bed's still unmade, you know. Now I get up and I make the bed.
Yeah, that's great.
I have to kick my wife out of the bed first. But I make the bed every morning, and I don't know, it just feels good when I walk back in later in the day and I see the bed has been made. I don't know why.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think for me, Keaton from California, I think for me, I try to get rid of like my perfectionist inklings, and so one of the things I like to do is not worry about like whether or not my bed is made. So, you know, I come back in at night and the pillow's
See, he has to laugh at that joke. I don't.
But no, speaking of beds, I will not get on my phone when I'm in my bed. Even if I want to return a text message, I'm like, oh shoot, I want to play Wordle or I want to do something. I won't do it in the bed. I will force myself to get out of the bed and either just stand next to him or I will lie. It works. It's literally as simple as, because there's so much, because here's what I would do. I would be like,
I just imagine like him getting a text in the middle of the night, it's like,
Well, that's basically what happens. But truth be told, I have the problem of if it was middle of the night or whatever, and I wake up and I'm, oh, what time is it? And I go and I look at my clock or whatever, my phone, it's 1:30. I'm like, let me see if there's anything on the news. Let me see ESPN. Let me see who won the game. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of awake. Let's see what's on YouTube. And fast forward an hour, and I haven't slept. So I'm like, if it's not important enough for me to get out of bed to do it, then I just leave my phone on the nightstand. So yeah, in a totally unkept bed.
Thank you guys. That was.
Thank you for kicking out.